Hi everyone, Vanessa here, and I'm very excited about today's video because I finally get to use my background as a biochemist and clinical research specialist in communicable diseases to talk to you today about the most common travel diseases and how to avoid them. And no, I'm not trying to scare everyone, but international travel can pose various risks, and you as a traveler may encounter sudden changes in humidity, altitude, bacterial exposure, etc., all of which can greatly contribute to poor health while traveling. So stay tuned as I break down the most common travel diseases as simply as possible, and more importantly, how you can prevent them. I'll begin with cholera, a bacterial disease which can be fatal, with tens of thousands of deaths occurring from it each year. It's usually transmitted by infected water and can be found anywhere in the world. Common symptoms include upset stomach, nausea, fatigue, and rapid weight loss. So, how to avoid all this? If you find yourself traveling in a risky environment, drink only bottled water. Don't consume any raw foods, including salads, which can be potentially washed with contaminated water, and be very vigilant about anything that you could potentially ingest. For example, if someone touches your water bottle with polluted hands, you could get the disease through the transmission of the bacteria through open surfaces. You even need to avoid anything but bottled water when brushing your teeth. So be very careful always. In the unfortunate event that you do contract it, the greatest risk is death due to dehydration. So even though water won't stay in your system for long at all, continue to drink water constantly until you can get medical attention, which you should seek as soon as possible, and you will likely be treated with a regimen of Cipro. So bottom line, be vigilant of any possible bacterial transmission with anything you may consume, stay as hydrated as humanly possible, and seek medical attention at the onset of symptoms. Now let's look at Cryptosporidium, a little known but relatively commonly acquired parasite, which can be acquired anywhere in the world, but many travelers do get it in India. This parasite can be transmitted from both local drinking water as well as contaminated food, and symptoms are many, from upset stomach, weight loss, and dehydration, as we discussed before for cholera, and also include vomiting and fever. So it is commonly mistaken for the stomach flu or food poisoning. But unlike those illnesses, the symptoms of this disease can potentially continue on for weeks. So in order to avoid all that, as always, drink only bottled water, avoid fruits and vegetables, and if you do choose to have them, only consume those with a peel, such as a banana. And with crypto, you must also avoid where you swim, such as in still or murky waters, even swimming pools, which can be a hotbed for these parasites. As far as treatment, thankfully this one is not generally considered to be deadly and can be treated through constant hydration of clean water, as well as prescription nitazoxanide, which is FDA approved for the treatment of crypto. Dengue is a virus transmitted via mosquitoes, and it is mostly acquired in the Caribbean, especially Puerto Rico, Latin and South America, Southeast Asia, and the Pacific Islands. So quite a large geographical area of transmission, which makes it quite common, with approximately 3 million people a year acquiring dengue, and even a few thousand people a year in the US. The most common symptoms are fever and the telltale red spots or patches on the skin, with other symptoms including joint pain, pale and clammy skin, vomiting of blood, and bleeding from the gums and nose. So there is no mistaking this one for the common flu. And the way to avoid dengue is much simpler than the others, and that is, if you're traveling somewhere warm and tropical, douse yourself in mosquito repellent. It is crucial. Don't travel to these locations without it, and use it repeatedly throughout the day. And as a virus, it must be treated as such, with hydration and boosting the immune system as much as possible. Some patients, when hospitalized, will be administered an IV of vitamin C, so your body will recover faster. But steer clear of ibuprofen and aspirin, which are blood thinners, which would exacerbate any potential bleeding. So, bottom line, use that bug spray. Giardia is another parasite which can cause an intestinal infection. It is commonly transmitted through contaminated food, water, and even people, and can be found all over the world in warm, cold, and temperate climates. Symptoms include upset stomach, cramping, bloating, severe heartburn, nausea, and fatigue. It can be avoided in the same ways I've outlined, so I won't keep repeating myself, but I will interject with a good travel tip here. Since this disease and many others are transmitted through contaminated drinking water, I highly recommend traveling with a SteriPen, which is an ultraviolet pen that you stir around your water, and it will kill any potential bacteria and parasites. Of course, drinking water isn't the only way this can happen. If you go swimming in an outdoor body of water, or even take a shower, you could accidentally swallow contaminated water, so keep those lips as tightly closed as possible. Symptoms of Giardia usually last about 3 weeks, so seek medical attention as soon as possible to begin antibiotic treatment right away, so you don't have to be very miserable for a few weeks. Malaria is an incredibly serious disease. It is the deadliest parasitic disease in the world, killing approximately 1 million people each year. And it occurs in tropical and subtropical climates. And if you know that you will be traveling to an area where it is common, you should check in with your doctor and take preventative medicines before you leave, during your travels, and even for a short time following your return home. Transmission, as most people know, is via mosquito bites, and common symptoms include high fever, headaches, shaking chills, flu-like symptoms, anemia, and even sharp shooting pain along the neck and spine. And the symptoms occur 7 to 30 days after the mosquito bite, so be careful. Just because you return home and don't immediately demonstrate any symptoms doesn't mean you're in the clear. As far as how to avoid it, use that mosquito repellent and netting around you while you sleep at night. It even helps to avoid brightly colored clothing. And of course, clinical trials have proven that taking preventative medicines such as Malarone before your travels can help, although I must caution you that trials have not proven them to be 100% effective, and they do come with side effects, so it's best to really discuss the pros and cons with your doctor in great detail. As far as treatment, if you do acquire it, there is a very quick test that can be done to test for it, and you can know within minutes, and you will of course be put on a regimen of meds, but I have to let you know, once you acquire it, it will remain dormant in your body for life. And while I can tell you firsthand that plenty of government-funded research is spent on clinical study, there is no vaccine as of yet, so you must take this very seriously. Now to yet another mosquito-borne virus, Zika, the much-discussed disease in recent years, which is actually transmitted via the same mosquito that causes dengue, and they usually feed during the day. So, since the mosquito is the cause, symptoms also include fever, but vary a bit with headache, joint and muscle pain, rash, and conjunctivitis, commonly known as pink eye. There is believed to be a link between mothers who acquire Zika and babies born with birth defects, since it can be spread to the baby during pregnancy, although it is considered to be safe for pregnancy 9 to 12 months post-infection. The virus was really contained mostly to Africa, Southeast Asia, and the Pacific Islands for a while, but Zika really came to the forefront in the media when reports started spreading to the Caribbean, Brazil, Mexico, Central and South America, as well as parts of the United States. I know I sound like a broken record, but it can be avoided with consistent mosquito repellent use, bed netting, covering yourself up completely when outdoors, long sleeves and pants, don't wear perfumes and colognes which attract the mosquitoes, and while pregnant, avoiding areas known to have documented cases, as well as any possible blood contamination such as blood transfusions. So I know there was lots of paranoia surrounding Zika for a while, and gradually it passed, but it should still be taken seriously by travelers. So the good news in all this is that you can stay healthy during travel by taking the right steps to protect yourself. If you found this information to be helpful, please click the like button and let me know if you'd like more of my medical background in future videos, and I hope to see you back right here on Passport Pages.